They then stop, turn around, and begin searching for something, eventually grabbing a handful of flowers from the yard, which they then use to block the view of the security camera as they disable it. This third video shows the person.
Wait, did you catch what he's holding? He actually grabs a handful of flowers from the yard just to block the camera lens. This isn't just a random break-in. This is someone who planned every single move. Look at how calm he is. Stop the scroll because we need to look at these details right now.
Tonight, the first chilling images shedding light on what happened at Nancy Guthrie's house the night she was abducted. In this disturbing Nest camera surveillance footage released by the FBI today, you can see a masked person walk up to Nancy's front door and begin tampering with the camera around the time Nancy disappeared. The person has a gun holstered to their waist and is wearing gloves and a fully stuffed backpack. They then stop, turn around, and begin searching for something, eventually grabbing a handful of flowers from the yard, which they then use to block the view of the security camera as they disable it. This third video shows the person slightly hunched over as they walk up to the door.
This is the game changer we were waiting for, more than anything, more than, ballistics, more than other types of, cell phone data. This is the one. The video so often is what breaks the case open.
While none of the videos or images show the suspect's face, there are many defining features you can see that could help investigators and the public figure out who this person is. Here, there appears to be facial hair around the mouth, and here, distinctive shaped eyebrows showing through the eye holes of the mask. The person's clothes may also be a clue: light-colored running shoes, this zip-up jacket, and reflectors on the backpack. In this photo, the glare suggests there could be a flashlight in the person's mouth as they hold up.
Look at the way this person is moving. Notice that slight hunch in the shoulders and the way they're manipulating the Nest camera. This is professional level tampering. The backpack is fully stuffed, which suggests they weren't planning on a quick in and out job. And look at the reflectors on that backpack. That's a huge detail. If you know anyone who owns a bag with those specific markings, you need to be speaking up. Also, check out the footwear. Those light-colored running shoes are pretty distinctive against the dark clothing. It's wild because he knows exactly where the dead zones of the camera are, but the FBI still managed to pull this deleted data. It really makes you think about how much digital footprint we actually leave behind, even when we think we've disabled the recording. The gun holstered at the waist tells you everything you need to know about the stakes here. This wasn't a burglary. It was a targeted abduction. Look closely at the jawline through the mask. There's just enough detail there for someone who knows him to recognize that profile.
A local Tucson news station's reporting that less than $300 was put into the Bitcoin account, but there may be more coming. Meanwhile, SWAT team and bomb squad units have just been deployed in the hunt for Nancy Guthrie. They were seen peeling out of their Tucson headquarters. They were on the move and we're tracking them. Police have been all over Savannah's sister's neighborhood this afternoon. FBI agents going door to door, asking Annie's neighbors for permission to search their property and looking for items that might have been disposed of or hidden. Annie Guthrie and her husband Tommaso were the last ones to see Nancy before she went missing. TMZ is reporting that investigators believe whoever took Nancy was from the Tucson area. And that manhunt seems to have zeroed in on a tiny radius surrounding her daughter's block. Annie and Tommaso's home is a 10-minute drive from Nancy's house, and authorities have been scrutinizing the locals. Earlier today, landscapers, pool cleaners, and contractors who had access to Nancy's house were swabbed for DNA.
This is where the investigation gets incredibly intense. The authorities have basically zeroed in on a tiny radius around the daughter's block. Think about that. They're swabbing landscapers, pool cleaners, and every contractor who had access to the property. That tells me they're looking for a familiar face or someone who had a legitimate reason to be in the neighborhood scouting the layout. Look at the sheer volume of FBI agents going door to door. They aren't just asking questions. They're looking for items that might have been ditched in trash cans or hidden in bushes. The fact that the daughter and her husband were the last ones to see Nancy adds this heavy layer of local scrutiny. It feels like the police believe the suspect is still in the Tucson area, or at least that's where the trail is hottest. It's chilling to think that a regular neighborhood is being treated like a grid search zone, but with DNA swabs happening, they must have found something at the house to compare it to. Huge update right here. The Pima County Sheriff's Department just detained a person of interest. Now, they're being very careful with their words, saying detained for questioning rather than arrested. But this is the first major move we've seen in 10 days. The FBI is involved in this specific stop, which means they likely tracked this person via digital evidence or a direct tip from the new surveillance images. The fact that they don't have a photo or a name released yet usually means they're still trying to build enough probable cause to make it a formal arrest. It's a high-pressure moment because every hour counts when you're 10 days into a disappearance. You can see the urgency in the way the law enforcement officials are briefing the press. They're holding their cards close to their chest, but the coordination between the local sheriffs and the federal agents suggests they found a lead that's more than just a coincidence. We're all waiting to see if this person matches the description of the guy in the mask.
Where exactly, it's a circle driveway, where exactly this person parked isn't clear. It's clearly not at the bottom of the walkway down to the driveway. It's kind of stuck out to me because I thought, that would be clearly a piece of evidence
Nancy Guthrie's home
officers would love
may
to
have
have
been
what kind
lost,
of car we're
corrupted,
looking
or
for.
inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the
speaking to
removal of these recording devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems. Working with our
Okay, this is absolutely surreal. In the middle of an active FBI abduction investigation, a pizza delivery driver literally just walks onto the scene and tries to deliver food to the house. You can see the frustration from the sheriff's department in their social media post. They're basically begging the media and locals not to order delivery to a crime scene. It highlights a huge problem with high-profile cases like this. There isn't always a physical yellow tape perimeter, so people just wander in. It seems the delivery driver was just doing his job, but it shows how chaotic these scenes can get. Imagine being an FBI agent trying to track a kidnapper and having to deal with a pepperoni pizza delivery at the front door. It's a moment of bizarre reality in a very dark situation. It also proves how accessible the property still is, which is probably why the FBI is so focused on checking every inch of the surrounding area for anything out of place.
Jake, there certainly seems to be a lot of activity in the investigation. What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Well, first of all, we should bring some clarity that K-Gun, the local CNN affiliate, also reports activity in that Bitcoin account, but it's less than $300 activity, so it's unclear what that exactly means. We talked to a Bitcoin and cyber monetary value expert earlier today who talked about how sometimes even just sending one penny to or $1 to an account like that can help people track down where that account is. They're actually.
Let's talk about the money. The Bitcoin account tied to the ransom note just saw activity, specifically a payment under $300. Now, you might think crypto is untraceable, but listen to what the experts are saying. Even a tiny payment like that can create a digital breadcrumb. The FBI can track the IP addresses used to access that wallet. If the kidnapper checked the balance or moved that small amount without a high-end VPN, they basically just pinged their location directly to federal servers. It's an interesting tactic. Sometimes investigators or even private parties will send a small dusting payment to a wallet just to see if the owner interacts with it. If they do, they're caught. This $300 move could be the exact mistake the authorities were waiting for. In the world of cyber forensics, a single login from an unprotected network is enough to blow the whole thing wide open. It's a digital game of cat and mouse, and the mouse just might have made its first wrong turn. This case is moving fast. If you recognize that backpack or those shoes, call the authorities. Catch you in the next update.